Hello there. My name is Ron Wills. I'm the author of Nice Guys and Players, Becoming the Man Women Want, as well as several other books focused mainly on self-development for men. Not just for relationships, but for life in general. And I also have a website. It's www.romwills.com. That's Rom, R-O-M, last name Wills, W-I-L-L-S. Just look in the little comment section and click that link. Let's just make it easy on everybody. One of the things I have on my website is a blog, and I do it once or twice a week. And my most recent blog is entitled Trumping Looks, Money, Status, and Game. See, on the internet, especially when you talk about that, I guess you could call it an industry of men getting more women or beautiful women, however you want to look at it. There are two general schools of thought, several schools of thought, but two very general ones. One is if that you get your looks up, hit the gym and groom and all that, have some money and status, you will get women. And then there's another school of thought that says, well, if you don't have those things, well, you got to have some game. And game could be, there's several definitions of it, anything from using pickup lines to some people just use it as a metaphor for life. Now, just to be clear, both of them work. Both of them work, but maybe not to a great extent for some people, and results may vary. Now, when I say trumping those things, trumping looks, money, and status, trumping game, the thing that trumps them is raw sex appeal. If a man has raw sex appeal, he can trump those things. He doesn't need the looks, money, or the status. In fact, all those things do is actually magnify his raw sex appeal anyway. That's all it does. So you have, if a man has that. Now, a lot of people will say, well, what is that? If it's not looks, money, status, if that's not game, if that's not sex appeal. See, sex appeal is not so much a left brain thing. It's not a thing where you have objects. It's not what's coming out of your mouth. It's the energy. It's the energy behind everything else. In fact, when you have that core energy, it's only magnified by your looks. It's magnified by your money and your status. It's magnified by your words. That's the whole thing. Now, in my books rather, I divide men into four general categories. I actually have a fifth category, but that's another video. We ain't even gonna get into that with this one. But in my books, I divide men into four general categories in terms of how women see them. And those categories are Mr. Goodbar, the masked man, the gamesman, and the nice guy. Now, Mr. Goodbar, that's that man that women consider sexy. That's that man who turns them on. That's that man who makes their vaginas tingle. He doesn't need money to get a woman. He doesn't need status. He don't even need to say anything. He can just walk down the street, and he gets approached routinely by women. In a few cases, he doesn't even need looks. In fact, I would say this: he can be an average looking dude, but because of that sexual energy, he looks like maybe 2 or 3 points better. If he's like without that sexual energy, he's a 6. All of a sudden he has that energy, a woman will say, well, he a 9, he's a 10. And now, and I'll get into just the real nature of that energy in a second. The second type of man I talk about is the masked man. Now, that's the man who actually has the looks, the money, the status. In fact, for a man to qualify as a masked man, he has to have those things. He has to look good. He has to be handsome. He has to be built a certain way. He has to be a certain height. He basically has to be that image that the media promotes as an alpha male. And then, but even that's limited. Even that's limited because what the masked man lacks is that raw sex appeal. So a woman might get into a relationship with him, but she'll always feel like something is missing. And then you have the gamesman. Now the gamesmen is like these thirsty men out here. The men who holler at everybody. These men who will probably get some street harassment laws passed because they trying to talk to every woman they see. They're also the men who, you know, they spit that game at women. They come up with something. They approach them. They try to use any tactic they can to get a woman. Once again, they lack that raw sex appeal. And then you have the nice guy. The nice guy might actually have some money and status. A whole lot of them do. That's one of the things people don't realize. Just because somebody have that don't necessarily mean women are going crazy over them. Some of them even have a degree of looks. The thing is, they do not make a woman's vagina tingle. They do not turn a woman on sexually. And that's the thing to get with them. Now, when I talk about that raw sexual energy, I'm not talking about like just talking like, oh baby, I'll do this, and I'm not talking about techniques. I'm talking about that raw primal thing, that inner masculine thing, that thing that when a woman feels that energy, when she's around that energy, she feels it. And it's something a man doesn't have to do anything, he just has to radiate it. And it's not even something he's doing consciously. In fact, the average dude who's radiating that type of energy has no idea he's doing it. In fact, he might think he have game. He might say, well, I hit her with this line, or you know what, I got this Mercedes over here, or I got this job. And it's really the energy, because he could be, I've known some cats, some Mr. Goodbar types. I mean, these guys are minimum wage workers, or they living in their mom's basement, or I knew one cat, he was homeless, but he had that energy. So women go crazy over that energy. Is just is that primal thing, is that DNA thing. It's deep. It's that deep energy. But see, the thing in this society, most men have suppressed it to the point that it's irrelevant. And you know, that's a result of the culture. That's a result of sexual fears. Like some men, a lot of men are actually scared sexually, and they scared sexually because, you know, they might not feel their dicks are big enough, or they might have been indoctrinated by religion at an early age and they feel like sex is a sin. You know, then, you know, they might feel like they'll get a disease. It's deep. It's, with some people, I mean, it's deep to the point they might need psychological help. But then you have those dudes, the Mr. Goodbar types, who, well, for whatever reason, they never developed that sexual fear, so they let their energy reign naturally. And like I said, it's not even something they're thinking about. And I probably have to get into a deeper video, but it's a very subconscious thing. But it's a very, I would say, a right brain thing. They're not conscious of what they're doing. The main thing about that energy is it just exists. And when a man doesn't suppress it, it comes out. It comes out in the tone of his voice. It comes out in how he looks at a woman. It comes out in how he walks. I mean, he could stand totally still somewhere and that energy is still going to radiate. And like I said, looks, money, and status, clothes, all of that, all that does is magnify that energy. Now, I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want to make it too long because trust me, I can go about 3 or 4 hours on this. I'll say this: why don't you check out my site, my website below in the comments. Yeah, check that out. Click on that. Check out my blogs and everything. And one of the main things I talk about in my books is how a man can develop that energy and develop it in a natural way. You know, he won't need the car. He won't need those outer things. He would have it even if he's going to the supermarket in some sweats without bathing for like 3 days. He'll still have that energy. So check my stuff out, and in the future I'm gonna get deeper into how to develop that energy. So anyway, I'll holler at y'all Bamas later. Alright, peace.